Hello, lovely people. Today I was a bit bored, so I decided to tune my home system. So, yes, this is my home system. It is messy because my little one is playing there. I don't show this very often, but probably you've seen these speakers and everything. So, today we're gonna go through what are these speakers, what my system consists of, and I'm gonna show you the measurements and how I tuned it using the same principles as tuning a car because tuning is tuning. There's no big difference. You can use the same UMIC to tune your home system. So my home system consists of 2.1 systems. So these bookshelf speakers, a sub, and that's pretty much it. Here on the top, it's my power and everything. So this is a linear power supply. It's not switching, so it has transformers. It's big. It gets quite hot, and it does buzz. It does. It's limited to 25 amps over here. On peaks on music, it goes like over 30 or whatever, but it's fine. It's holding up. It's not complaining. No problems. For the bookshelf speakers, I'm using the DSP amplifier, the Alpine PXC 0850X. That goes, I'm using the internal amplifier, which is not the best, but it's fine because I don't want to overcomplicate anything. And for the subwoofer, I'm using the MRP M350. So it does like 300 watts into 2 ohms. These channels, one channel goes into 2 split, and it's just very, very simple. From one power supply, this goes into electricity, on, off, and it's working. Now, the speakers on the sub. The sub is Alpine Status. So this is a 2 cubic feet sealed enclosure, and I did model it. I have a video about this, and it's too big. So the enclosure is too big because the sub doesn't like to play below 30 hertz in this. And obviously you have a room where you don't have that lower frequency reinforcement as you have in the back in the car. I'm gonna show you the measurements and everything. But if I would have a second one, that would be ideal, or I would need to port this box. Now, these speakers, so this is going to be a little bit of a story, so if you want, just skip it to the tuning part. But these speakers were gifted to my mom when I was born. So I was born in 1987. I don't know how old I am, but yeah. And these are Soviet-made speakers. You can see I just took it apart because I just want to show you. So you have these stamps, SSSR, so Soviet Union, and this is a model 10 GDSH, we call it GDSH 1. So it is a 10 watt full range driver. It has literally maybe 2 millimeters of X max. It goes like out and in more because X mechanical is much higher, but like the coil itself, because I seen these disassembled, the coil itself, it's tiny. It's literally just a few millimeters of X max. It does have a foam surround, not rubber, but foam, and it does perish. So these are not the original drivers that were in these boxes. The original drivers, what we did with them when I was 13, 14, we put these drivers in one of my buddies' Golf rear shelf in free air. So needless to say, 10 watt drivers in free air playing by teenagers, they were destroyed. It took us maybe just a few days to wreck them totally. So these I bought when I was back in uni, and I found them in a marketplace for very, very cheap. And I saw them, it's like, yes, I need them, because I had these cabinets literally under my desk when I was a teenager because they were empty. I had made like plywood inserts, and I had like 6.5s in there just to play, to have some music. But these cabinets are really, really old. So you can see everything is like peeling. I did try to restore them probably 15 years ago. So yeah, they're very old. So they would need some TLC and some love. I did replace these terminals, and yeah, so this driver is, you can see from here, I just put some grills from protection. These are from China, just a few quid. There is, you can see the wizard cone. So they're full range and they play all the way up, and it is a wizard cone to help with the higher frequencies. Now, this driver is a very high Q driver. It's like 0.8 or 0.9 QTS. And when you put a high Q driver in a sealed enclosure, so this is, I think, like 20 liters, so probably like what, half a cubic foot or something like that. It has a peak at the lower frequencies, and then it just drops off from a cliff. So if you're listening to these bookshelves just by themselves with nothing else, there's like a rising frequency response toward the higher frequencies. At the bottom, it has a massive peak, and then it drops off below like 70 or 80 hertz. They don't play low at all. Now, what Russians do, and I wanted to do that as well, when you have a very high Q driver with little Xmax, what you do, you have a transmission line for it. And people build transmission line enclosures for these drivers. So these are 8-inch, so they're quite big. They're very sensitive, like 93, 94 dB or something. 4 ohm drivers, and people build transmission line speakers, which would be like the same size as this whole thing, probably like 60 or 70 liters, so it's like 1.5 cubic feet, maybe up to 2 cubic feet or something. And apparently they have good results. So I wanted to do that, but I just left them in these cabinets because my wife, for some reason, she likes them. She likes the rustic look that they're beating up. I was like, I need to restore them. I need to polish them, like repaint and everything. And she's like, no, leave it as it is because I like how they look. I like the like old Soviet beat up look and everything. So yeah, it is what it is. So I just left them there and they're very, very happy. So these speakers were produced, I think, towards the end of the 70s and 80s. So I was born in 87. They were already like in shelves. So probably from the 80s. And these cabinets, as I mentioned, from the 80s, these drivers are a bit younger than that. I'm not sure if there's a date on them. Oh yeah, so 16th of January 1986. These specific ones were produced in 86. The ones that I had before, I guess they were like a few years younger, or maybe similar, something like this. But yeah, these drivers and these boxes, as surprising as it sounds, they play very nice. Same like with the old school amplifiers. So let's have a look at the measurements, what I have with these. I was playing with the crossovers just to find the best ones for them to be with the lowest distortion. And apparently I ended up having a crossover at 100 hertz at 24 dB. Linkus Riley. So you can see this is left and right. Let me do this. So one of them, which is the left one, you can see the left one plays a little bit lower just because it is corner loaded. So it's exactly the same principle when you have mids in the dash, tweeters in the dash, or you have a subwoofer on the very back. So you have help from the surrounding corner and it's corner loaded, so it has a bit more low end, whereas this one is totally empty, nothing around it. So it doesn't play as low. So both of them are crossed at 100 hertz. And you can see the trend is that they play like surprisingly nice from 100 all the way up to like 1K or so. And then they have this rising response that makes them very bright. If you play it by themselves with nothing else, they are bright speakers. They play all the way up to what, 18, 17 and a half K. So technically they don't need a tweeter. However, I did try them with the Chinese beryllium tweeters and they do sound nice at the top end because this top end is the wizard cone and like cone breakup at here at 10K. So it's not ideal, but for simplicity, they do play very, very nice. So let me show you, oh, the subwoofer, yeah, as well. So this left, right, and this is a subwoofer with a crossover. So you can see there is a massive peak here at 70 hertz. It doesn't play low. It plays like, so this 33 hertz, it could be a room mode because of the room dimensions or something. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so I chose a target line to end somewhere 40 hertz because I will be watching movies, but it doesn't play very nice at 30 and below. So down to 30 just to remove these peaks and fix this. It is crossed at 90 hertz, 90 hertz, 12 dB crossover, yeah. So it gives me a 90 hertz acoustical crossover with the mids. So they do overlap like this. And you can see, as always, you have much more sub-level. So let's have a look what I did. Left like this. So you can see it's not much work because they play very, very nice. I just removed this little bottom end, fixed a little bit here, a little bit there. Now this, the top end, would be easily fixed with a shelf filter. However, that Alpine DSP doesn't have a shelf filter. It has only EQ. If I would have a Helix, just with a shelf, just pull all this top down, it would be nice. But this peak needed taming as well. So after the EQ, it was like this. There is something here, maybe a room mode, maybe a cabinet resonance or something, but you can see they play very, very nice. So this is the left one. The right one, since it's in like open air, it behaves slightly different, but kind of similar as well. So I ran one EQ, and for some reason it didn't give me very good results. So I had to run the EQ a second time with very wide Q cuts and boost, and I ended up something like this. So again, a little boost in these narrow thingies and cut the whole top end. There we go. And then we have left and right together. After EQ, we have something like this. They play very, very nice together. Yeah, they are crossed, I think, 90 hertz, 100 hertz electrically, and it matches a 90 hertz acoustical slope. This peak, I don't know, it's on both speakers, 70 hertz, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's some kind of a resonance because of this dolly house or something, I'm not sure. Because from the subwoofer, it does kind of rattle a lot. So maybe there's some kind of resonance. So I didn't fix it, I just left it as it is. And the subwoofer, so subwoofer, this is just with a crossover. And after EQ, it ended up something like this, just a bit nicer. Extension down to 40. I didn't want to boost anything here because it is too big of a box for that subwoofer, so it doesn't play low that much, but just literally just fixing a little these. And this, and then we have left, right, and this. The sub level, I brought it down because there was way too much subwoofer, and it still is a little bit more. It's just because we use this system to watch movies. Yes, I do not have a TV, as strange as it sounds. We just have a laptop like on the chair and we play movies, but sound for me is more important than the actual visuals. And with the little one, you know, it's better not to have a TV. So I am one of the weird ones that doesn't have a TV. Now, time alignment, just very quick. So I have everything like here with home, have my subwoofer, and I have my both bookshelves side at the same time. And phase looks like this. It's not perfect, it's not ideal because there's loads of stuff happening, but they do match kinda okay. Here, I'm not too worried about this, but since the crossover is 90, which is this here, this area, like in here, if I'm, yeah. So you can see it's not perfect, but it does match. I'm not too worried. I didn't aim for a perfect match. Well, yeah, it's not that bad. And then after everything summed, I had something like this. So let me remove this, and this. This is the total sum. And then I noticed that it summed a bit too much in this area, like 300 hertz. And this is a little valley. So what I did, I boosted this a little bit and cut this a little bit. And this, you can see, boost a little bit, cut a little bit. And then this was my final result with these. So if I'm gonna apply 1/3 of a smoothing, just for it to look better, something like this. So it's totally flat, all the way down to 125 or something, and then just a little bit more sub bass, like down to 50. I have less than plus 10 dB because in a room it's totally different, and I don't really need that much. Even with this, it's a bit on the bassy side, so for movies it's going to be perfectly fine. Yes, I don't have that extension down to 10 hertz or whatever, so it does peak at 50, but it's fine because these bookshelves don't play anything below. But in general, after that, a little bit sloping down, but yeah. So this is the final result, and I'm very happy how it sounds like. It's gonna be very fun to watch movies on this little screen with my family, and I encourage everyone tune not only cars, but try your home system. Even if you have tiny some kind of a speakers, if you have a DSP, if you have the ability to tune it, because why not? This video was little tuning and a lot of history. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.